with Snow White, who is explicitly described as white as snow, or a historical figure from a specific time and place. Changing them to black people to fit a woke agenda is dishonest. It's a disgrace to the original creators, and what's the purpose? Take the Rings of Power, for example. Tolkien always portrayed elves as white, noble and wise, inspired by Nordic mythology. There were no black elves. However, Amazon, who created the Rings of Power, added several of them. And the same goes for the dwarfs. There simply were no black dwarfs in the original material, but that's not the case in the series. We also have Severus Snape in Harry Potter, described with sallow skin and being pale and white, now portrayed as black in the new HBO Harry Potter series. In Sweden, remakes have been made of some of the most beloved children's movies by Astrid Lindgren, originally featuring blonde Swedish children, and they now been remade as multicultural. For example, in Vi på Saltkråkan, and the same goes for Ronja Rövardotter. Then there are the commercials. For example, SAS Airlines had a black man saying "our Viking ancestors," which is obviously false, and many other ads prominently feature white women with black men. Fictional movies and commercials are one thing, but a more serious matter is when they try to rewrite history. Why would they want to do that? Is it because they want us to feel less proud, to take away some of the most amazing things white people have created and built in our country? That would certainly align with an agenda of creating white guilt. It's also likely intended to make it seem as though black people have always been part of these countries, to normalize that, but that's not the case. Take the documentary The History of Sweden, for example. They portray the first Swedes as Africans, but the first Swedes in fact look nothing like Africans. This is a recreation of the archaeological find of Sögnekvinnan, dated to 10,000 years ago. She doesn't look very African, does she? Then there's the documentary about Anne Boleyn. Was she black? Of course not. The new series Adolescence is based on a true crime in which an immigrant murdered a teenager, yet in the series he is portrayed as white. We're seeing this trend across many productions, portraying historically white figures as black, even in documentaries. The good news is that people are getting sick and tired of it. When they do this, we don't watch their movies. Snow White dropped to 1.7 on IMDb. When they insert it into their commercials, we stop buying from their company. And when they remake classic children movies, we show our children the originals instead. They're trying to erase and distort our history and